What's up, YouTube? Just getting set up to get ready to go here. I'll be leaving out momentarily. Let me get my text-to-speech program opened and running here. All right, I think it's up and running. Volume up. All right, let's get out of here. Welcome to another Johnny Dangerously live stream. Just outside of Morris, Illinois right now. Going to be heading eastbound. I'm going to head down towards Carmel, Indiana this morning. 2 deliveries today. And then back to Illinois. So should be a pretty average day. Should be about 12 to 13 hours today instead of the 13 to 14, so not too shabby. Gonna try to hang with you for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. Currently on day 3 of a 6-day work schedule. Was on vacation last week, been back for 3 days, ready for another vacation already. Key up my navigation, which I don't need it keyed up, but I like to run the navigation. Should be about a 500-mile day today, 525 miles, somewhere in that range, so not horrible. If you're just joining in and new to the live stream, my name's Johnny Dangerously. I am a truck driver from Columbus, Ohio. Been driving for about 18 years. Currently on a regional dedicated account where I do retail deliveries. I work out of a warehouse near Utica, Illinois. And basically make deliveries all throughout Indiana every morning and then back to Illinois at the end of every day. And then Fridays I'm supposed to go back home to Columbus, Ohio. I probably only go back to Columbus every 2 or 3 weeks. This ends up being a 75 to 80 hour a week work schedule. It's absolutely soul crushing, so a lot of times I'll just hang out in Chicago or Indy instead of going back to Columbus just to save a good 5-6 hours of wear and tear on my mind, body, and soul. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I do put a lot of videos up throughout the week as crazy shit happens out here. Got a couple hundred videos up on short videos up on YouTube now. I do have a background in filmmaking from years and years ago, so every once in a while I'll put together a non-jiving related video. I have about a dozen of those I want to do, but my life's paradox is, if I have the time, I ain't got the money. If I got the money, I ain't got the time. So, yeah, I'm just short on time at this point. Which, give it a little time, I'm sure I'll be short on money then, so. So I got this little text-to-speech program. Since I can't really read messages and comments going down the highway, I found this program that verbalizes all your messages and comments. So feel free to post. I can hear most of them and can generally respond. So, where's everyone at tonight? Anything fun and exciting going on? Hey Mike, if you're on here listening, don't forget to send me that text message with that picture in it. Trucks left lane only here. Gonna go ahead and get over. Drop the speed a little bit. So I have an old piece of shit trailer I'm dragging with me tonight. Dog tracks to the right. Ridiculous. Which is not a lot of fun taking it through these construction zones. I have to ride very high to the left just to keep the trailer in my lane on the right side. So absolute pain in the ass. So today's route's going to take me, I'm actually going to take Interstate 80 to Indiana 49 South, to US 30 East, to US 31 South, and I'm going to run the back way to Carmel. I just don't feel like dealing with Indianapolis rush hour this morning, so every once in a while I like to switch it up, give myself a little bit of a break. Dumped some more coffee out while I was getting the live stream set up, but I forgot. I'm about to try to do that going down the highway. So it's been an absolute scorcher of a week out here. It's been almost 90 degrees up here in Illinois. Sunday, Monday, and I think it's going to be that high again today, so. Better than the alternative, though. quiet night traffic-wise tonight. Pretty happy about that. I'm sure that'll change before too long though. Got about a 15-mile long construction zone altogether on this section here. It's been going on for, geez, at least 2 years now. It doesn't look like they're anywhere near being finished with it. We got a couple sections of new concrete opened up though in a few miles here, so it's good to have that with winter coming in a month or two here. So we're going to try to hang out with y'all for maybe about 2 hours tonight. See how it goes. There is a chance that if my signal goes out for an extended period, which it went out twice last night, it will just end automatically. The first time that happens, I'll try to get it fired back up and going shortly after it cuts out. But if it does it twice, that'll pretty much wrap it up for the night. We'll see how this goes. Usually get a pretty big dead zone near Gary, Indiana for some reason. So alright, it does not appear that my text-to-speech is working. Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. What's up, Nathan? I think you were on Sunday morning, if I remember right. Welcome back if that's you. I hate passing these guys with this trailer I have a trailer that's dog tracking to the right now. Just making my lane very, very tight. I have to ride almost an inch away from this concrete wall just to keep my trailer in the lane on the right side. Absolute trash. But I got places to be, so it needs to be done. Keep it in his lane, that would be nice here.
Selena GRL 69 said, Amazon aka the Big Beach.
All right, coming up on Joliet, Illinois here. I'll get to y'all messages in a couple minutes here as soon as I get this construction zone to open up a little bit. I got a trailer that's dog tracking pretty heavy to the right now, which is making my lane even tighter than what it already is. Ah, shit, there's some barrel on the road here. Might have clipped it a little bit. God damn it. Always something. So when I was owner-operator several years back, almost 10 years ago now, yeah, every once in a while, generally what would happen is somebody in front of me would hit a barrel and it would hit the concrete wall and then bounce back directly in my path, and basically you have no choice but to hit the barrel at that point. Pretty much just like the one I just went past. But nowadays they make these trucks out of freaking plastic. So it'll bust the fender piece off, this and that. Then I got to deal with safety, and that just turns into a freaking nightmare. It takes half a day to get everything settled and resolved. And you can see this guy can't even keep it in his freaking lane to begin with. So got some tight curves here. Technically a 45-mile-an-hour curve in Joliet, Illinois right now. Like, look at this guy. He can't even keep in his lane. What a piece of shit. You know, we got a lot of guys driving out here now, illegal immigrants with fake CDLs and everything. I don't think this guy is one of them in front of me. I'm pretty good at identifying these guys.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, as usual, road constructors are trying to get done before winter.
Alright, should be on some wider pavement here for a few miles. Yep, I remember Nathan. I think we were talking about some football and college football and whatever. Yeah, looks like are we losing a lane here? Nah. Yeah. I don't think they're going to finish that construction before winter. So it ran all of last winter, and it wasn't that bad of a winter, but a few times I had to go through it when it was pretty covered with snow. It was a son of a bitch. So this is still part of the construction zone I'm in right now, but this section wasn't open last winter, so they're slowly getting some of the new sections open. So I'm hoping this winter be a little easier to deal with, though I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more snow on the ground this winter than last winter. Just have to wait and see what happens with that. Yep, doing great out here. It's been pretty laid back week so far.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, illegal foreign CDL holders are many and everywhere.
Yeah, there's got to be a couple 100,000 or more drivers on our highways that have like no training, no schooling, and invalid CDLs who can't read, write, or speak English. And they're killing people. My buddy was just telling me a little while ago that there was another accident somewhere in Tennessee. A contractor for Amazon basically killed 3 people down in Tennessee or something recently, and that goes with the 3 people that just got killed down in Florida. from an illegal immigrant CDL, like invalid CDL driver. So it's a huge issue. I mean, these trucks weigh 80,000 pounds when they're fully loaded. And I mean, if I hit a car going 15 miles an hour when I'm fully loaded, I mean, you're probably going to have neck and back issues for the rest of your life at the bare minimum. So, you know, if you get hit at full highway speeds, I mean, you'll be lucky to survive. And even if you survive, you'll probably wish you hadn't. So it's a pretty big deal. I can't believe these states are so lax. They just, I think the transportation secretary just did a press release or a ruling where he implemented all kinds of emergency things for the states that they got to clear everyone through the immigration database, and you know, they're going to withhold hundreds of millions of dollars in construction money, transportation money. You know, if these states don't get with the program immediately. There's 60,000 non-domiciled CDLs, which I don't really know what the non-domicile portion of that means, but 15,000 of those 60,000 were illegal immigrants that did not have proper training or schooling to drive a commercial vehicle that California just gave a license to. And some of them, like for their names, says no name given. I mean, how they don't hold the people who gave those licenses, I mean, the people who issued those licenses should go to prison. I mean, people are dead because of this, and more people, I mean, I don't even know how many thousands of people are dead because of this very issue, but the numbers have got to be ridiculous. Last year, it's estimated that in the United States, there was over 39,000 traffic-related deaths just in the United States. Worldwide, and want to take a guess of what that number is worldwide for traffic-related deaths? 1.3 million people dead. That's every year. So, highways, roadways are some of the most dangerous places on earth. And they're just going to give CDLs out. I mean, I have the FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Service Alliance, has like over 12,000 rules in the book that I have to abide to every time I get behind the wheel of a semi-truck. Before I can get behind the wheel of a semi-truck, if I can, I'll try to find a way to post that whole entire FMCSR in the comments of one of these live streams sometime. So I'm held to that standard every single time I drive. And then these immigrants come illegally, and they're just given all that, and they don't have to abide by any of it, and they literally kill people. Absolutely insane. Ridiculous. So, I am all for legal immigration, doing things by the book. That's why we have rules, laws, and all that stuff. I have no problem with that at all whatsoever. But when you got people that don't play by the book, don't play by the rules, what's the point of having those rules in the first place then? If the very people who set those rules let hundreds of thousands of people ignore them.
Then there's 1,000 civilian working contract for say Home Depot or Sears going home delivery and use Penske straight trucks. Yep, it goes, it's everywhere. Every sector of the driving. And companies, you think Home Depot doesn't know, and Sears and places like that don't know that that's what's going on? They just look the other way because they're getting such a cheap deal, cheap contract out of it. And every one of the contractors that hire those drivers, the companies that contract, ooh, look at that big tire in the middle of that lane over there.
Ooh, you don't want to hit those for sure. But anybody that hires those types of drivers who are illegal, anybody who contracts with companies who hire those drivers that are illegal, not only should they be stripped of all their assets and money, they should all go to prison.
Doesn't mean it's good quality.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, most of your larger corporations don't give a shit about quality. You know, you take your CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies that make, you know, $100 million a year in salary and stock bonuses. You know, the whole reason they're getting paid that amount of money is just to come up with new and novel ways of ripping off their employees and ripping off their customers. Yeah, those Class A drivers, like in the little straight delivery trucks, you know, most of them aren't even a Class B CDL. It's just a regular driver's license for that. So, and you know, a lot of states just issue a driver's license to anyone without any questions asked. But if you're an American, you got to go take a driver's ed course, go take a driver's test. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's a double set of standards for everyone. So I don't like to get too much into politics on here or whatever. You know, this driving stuff I don't consider politics. I mean, it's right in my wheelhouse. You know, it's what I do for a living, so I'm pretty, you know, have some strong thoughts on it or whatever. But, you know, it's a problem, been a problem for a while, and I'm glad it's being dealt with, and I'm glad it's being dealt with severely at this point. So it needs to be.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, Missouri requires chopper's license.
Well, that's good. Yeah, there should be, if you're gonna work in commercial driving, regardless of what kind of vehicle it is, there should be some type of additional training, additional rules, something to weed out shit drivers and, well, obviously illegal drivers, so. But I've been driving for about 18 years now, and, you know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to pay attention to. And these companies, if you have any incidents, accidents, violations, I mean, they document it and keep that shit on your record for, you know, a several year period. And I mean, if you have more than one or two, just any little things against you, like, none of these companies will hire you. And then you look at all these guys that don't even have a valid CDL. I mean, these guys can't even back a truck up. I mean, they can't even back up into a parking spot at a truck stop. I'll have to shoot some video and put it up in a separate video on YouTube sometime, and just to show you like how ridiculous it is.
Said, do you use data queues?
I'm not sure what you mean by data queues, like DAC report. Companies use other reporting agencies to track everyone's violations and everything. So I had my first excuse me, my first preventable incident in 18 years back in April. So I was in a dock getting unloaded, and it was a very windy day, 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Well, while I was getting unloaded, it blew my open trailer door off its latch, and when I was done with the delivery, I didn't notice it before I pulled out from the dock, and so the door had swung open and got wedged in between the wall of the dock, and I broke 2 hinges on my trailer door. And like you wouldn't believe the paperwork I had to do, get with the safety department, they're documenting everything. I mean, literally goes straight on my record. I mean, I had to do like computer training, retraining, had to sign paperwork. I mean, it was like I killed 5 people for breaking 2 trailer door hinges, which is stupid on something as small as that. They want to keep a paper trail on every little thing a driver screws up out here. But then you got these dispatchers that end up sending you empty 500 miles because they can't dispatch a load properly. I wonder if that goes on their record. I doubt it. So, yeah, the shit that illegal drivers have to go through on a routine basis out here. I mean, it's, you know, we should be held to a high standard to a lot of the extent, because we are in a high safety sensitive position. But a lot of these companies, they like to ding your record up, mar your record up, because if you got stuff on your record like that, they can use it as an excuse not to hire you or hire you in at a much cheaper rate than they would normally have to. So I'm very fortunate. I am at the very, very top of the food chain as far as pay goes.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, "Are you independent or fleet?"
I'm fleet. I'm not owner-operator anymore. I was owner-operator from 2012 to 2016. Bought an old used truck off a buddy of mine. Gave me just a no-brainer deal on it, and it was a 2002 Freightliner, and I loved it. It didn't have any of the diesel exhaust fluid, none of the EPA stuff that the newer trucks have. And when it got towards the end of its useful life, I parked it and went to go work for Walmart, which was one of the highest paying company driving fleet positions in the country at the time. It is not anymore. But I had 1.9 million miles on that truck when I parked it. Still ran good, but it had to have been getting close to blowing the engine and all kinds of other major issues. I did the Walmart for about 5 years, and then got sick, couldn't drive for a few years, and then came back out with what I'm doing now. Just got lucky in this position. When I first came back to driving, I was out for almost 3 years, and you know, I had 15 years experience or whatever, give or take, around that time. And because I'd been out for so long, no one would hire me to go over the road, and their excuse was not enough recent experience, even though I had one of the best safety and risk scores in the entire country. That's just how picky these companies are. But yet a driver that can't speak English, that's here illegally with the fake CDL, has no problem getting a job, because there's a ton of illegal businesses set up just for drivers like him. But those drivers don't make shit. That's how they can get in. You know, those drivers probably make 20 to 30% of what I make. I mean, that's the name of the game, is just ripping people off. Cheating the system, ripping people off. So I may end up going independent again at some point. Not something I really want to do, but you know, money-wise, let's see what the economy does next year.
Keep mountain passes in Oregon, or where are you gonna find a driver from a rookie?
Good pass. We got an Amazon driver in front of us. Now, Amazon doesn't really own any of their own trucks. All they do is contract with independent drivers, and even got some carriers that they contract with. It's kind of like FedEx, you know. Believe it or not, FedEx Ground does not own any of those trucks. Even a FedEx Ground delivery truck that comes to your house is owned by a small business person. And then there's some companies that own entire fleets of those ground trucks that contract with FedEx. So Amazon pretty much functions the same way. Like the truck I just passed is probably an early 2000s owner-operator truck driving on Amazon. You see a lot of these fake CDL holders pulling Amazon trailers too. And really, if you're around an Amazon trailer when you're out and about driving around, I would definitely stay on high alert because there's a lot of shit drivers that pull Amazon trailers. Yeah, Nathan, I've driven out that way a lot. I didn't experience a lot when I was probably back in 2007 when I drove around in the Pacific Northwest for the most part. But I have a buddy out in LA who was driving up that way from up into Oregon actually, and they had the chain laws in effect, so he had to stop and get chained up, and he just described to me how many guys didn't even attempt to put chains on. Now you can tell, looking in the driver's cab, that a lot of them were immigrants driving these things without chains, going 10 miles an hour. And they just don't care. They don't care if they kill you. They don't care to follow the rules. They don't even know what the rules are. They can't read the street signs to know any warnings. They probably couldn't even read the signs that told them to put the chains on. So, you deal with, a big mountain pass out in Oregon, Washington, California with a ton of snow, and people are going to get killed. All right, so currently heading Interstate 80, heading eastbound right now. Going to be joining up with 294 here in a mile or so. Going to take it all the way over, get on the turnpike in Indiana, run it over to Indiana 49 down to US 30. Going to take it over to US 31 South. Oh, cool. Salina girl, what do you work for the U.S. Postal Service, or? gotcha. You don't do that anymore? Do you still drive?
Selena GRRL69 said, I am your retired home gal now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, back in 2007, I had a local FedEx ground route, and I worked for, basically a guy who owned 3 FedEx ground trucks. And as far as the likability of the job, it was one of the most favorite jobs I've ever had. It was like being Santa Claus every day of the week. People, you're bringing stuff that people want, people ordered, and but the money was not too good. Usually that working for a contractor, subcontractor type of scenario just means the ground floor worker ends up getting bottom tier pay. Back then I was making $100 a day salary with no benefits, and I love the work, love the job, but there's definitely no long-term future in it. So I ended up, I had already had my CDL at that point, and ran into a guy at dinner one night after my FedEx route that drove doubles for FedEx, and the guy was saying they had a driver position available. I said, I got my CDL. He said, well, come work for us. So I ended up going and driving team doubles for FedEx. That's how I ended up making it up to Oregon. We would run to Portland, Oregon most weeks and back. And that was basically our work week. So that was my first over-the-road driving gig there. Once again, there was a guy who owned the truck, who hired guys to drive the truck, subcontractor, contractor position. So, I didn't stay in the position long because, there's just not a long-term future in it, really. You're not going to climb the ranks, climb the ladder, and make exceptional money in that type of a gig. So, I just used it as a springboard to get me further along in my driving career. So. But glad I ended up driving. I've always loved driving cars. Always enjoyed. I didn't start driving truck until I think I was 29 years old or so. So wish I would have started a little sooner. But glad I ended up here. So much better than sitting in an office full of assholes all day, playing the office politics games, and did that for a good 10 years or so, almost 10 years, and glad I don't have to do that anymore. Right, I try to touch some coffee from my thermos here. So probably less than 2 miles away from the Indiana state line now. Good old Indiana, not really.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, I met a guy that hauled produce between Bakersfield and Modesto nights 1963 to 2005.
Holy shit, he did that for 42 years? Yeah, the deal is with that produce is
GRRRL 69 said, I couldn't do that.
yeah, that's a pretty crazy gig right there. The thing with that produce is it's only allowed to be on a trailer for a certain amount of time, usually no longer than 72 hours. And that can be pretty stressful sometimes. You can, if it's on there too long, they'll literally reject the whole load. You got to go get it shuffled out somewhere.
Nathan said, I'm mostly a landscaper but picked up a new job working for an independent contractor building bridges and creek restoration or amending. Very particular, I look forward to driving someday.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, Nathan. That's definitely some skilled labor right there. Probably no shortage of work up in your area either. All right, let's see what lane's closing up here.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, just like concrete mixer trucks where they got to get to SITR before badges crap.
Wow, I got that whole exit shut down. Damn. Yep, exactly. Yeah, there's all kinds of driving positions where time is of the essence for sure.
Nathan said, lots of work. People don't want to work hard here.
Yeah, Nathan, people don't want to work hard anywhere. And I see everybody giving like Generation Z they don't want to work and they're lazy and they just want to play video games. But I can absolutely assure you it is not just Generation Z. It is every single generation, period. Nobody wants to work anymore. And in some ways I can't blame them because most jobs pay like shit. There's no opportunity for advancement. So, if all I could do is go make 10 or 12 bucks an hour doing something, I'm not sure how long I would do that before I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm not doing that anymore. To be honest, if I had no job skills to be in a high-paying position, and that's all that was available, I'm pretty sure I would just go rob banks until I got caught, and then I get free food and housing once I do get caught. Screw living on the streets or some shit. But overall, people are just lazy nowadays. No work ethic. No, they just, there's two types of people in the workforce: people that give a shit, and people that don't give a shit. And if you're a manager doing the hiring, that's what you need to set your interview up to determine. Is this someone that gives a shit or someone that doesn't give a shit? I can't stand working with people that don't give a shit. I will go out of my way and work behind the scenes to destroy people like that. All right, I'm firmly in Indiana at this point. Probably got about 9 or 10 miles till.
GRRRL 69 said, just how long as there are no more 2020 like riots where truckers are attacked. Nathan said, yes sir, I'm 28 and try and preach work ethic.
Damn, Nathan. 28 and doing what you're doing, that's pretty good, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're on the right track for sure. Yeah, let's hope there's no more riots or whatever. I have a feeling that's wishful thinking at this point. I think come early next year, the economy is just going to go to complete shit, and it's going to get ugly out here. So, and yeah, it sucks being a trucker if society's going to shit, because most guys are in the middle of nowhere, far away from home, with really no refuge. I mean, some drivers bring protection mechanisms with them while they're out here. Others don't, but you always got to have eyes in the back of your head. Always be aware of your surroundings, your environment, where you're at. A lot of companies do put stuff out. I remember I was working for Walmart when those riots were going on, and they would actually shut stores down early, send messages. So it was good communications on that. Right, let's go ahead and get back in the right lane. Yeah, hopefully no more pandemics. I tell you what, though, when everything was shut down for COVID, some of the easiest, smoothest driving I've ever gotten to experience out here. It was very awkward driving through like a downtown metro area at like 8 in the morning, and it just being a complete ghost town. I mean, it was just the weirdest feeling in the world. I mean, it was just so unusual. There wasn't even a lot of truck traffic back then either, so. But here's my prediction, though.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, I remember that.
Yeah, here's my prediction though. It's going to go a little dark here, but you know, with all this AI, all this stuff coming on board, and they're saying how it's going to take everyone's jobs, and there aren't going to be any jobs, enough jobs to go around. It's going to destroy every industry. Well, here's what I think is going to happen: is you're going to have more pandemics, more illness, because once they have the AI online, they don't need us anymore. Yeah, so I think they're just gonna like kill everybody off. You know, you can bring the world population down to you know, a couple million people. You can pretty much solve all your climate change, global warming, carbon emissions problems. You know, that's not the biggest cause of climate change. You know, fossil fuels and stuff like that. It's the people that burn them. So I'm pretty sure they're just gonna, you know, kill everyone or find a way to let disease and famine and, you know, whatever, war. Not sure if it'll happen in my lifetime or not, but there's no need for us at some point in the near future here, so. Right. Well, there's 65 south there. I could go that way, but I'm gonna take the back way today. It's a couple miles extra, but I want to not deal with Indianapolis Metro today. So. Cop was doing there. He didn't have anyone pulled over. And he's staying put, so that's a good thing.
Selena GRRRL69 said, I tell young guys that Gary smack and tell them they wait interesting lives.
Yep. Interesting it will be, no doubt about it. But I generally don't pay too much attention to that shit because everything is just so polarized and crazy nowadays, politics-wise and everything, and it's like, it's just so obvious. It's a divide and conquer mechanism on steroids, and it's stupid. So it's just a way to rip us off and steal more from us from the big corporations. So, you know, I just do my thing. I just want to be left alone. I want the government out of my pocketbook. That's all I really give a shit about. So today is the last day of September. I can't believe we're into October already. I think it's officially fall now as of about a week ago or so.
RL69 said, EV semis with AI.
Yeah, I agree. But hopefully I'll be done with driving before those things take over. I probably only got 3 to 5 years left in me when I can do this with my neck back. I mean, it definitely takes a toll. Hopefully save some money up, invest in some AI companies, and then retire. All right, going to be exiting to the Turnpike, Indiana Turnpike here in a mile and a half or so. Figure out where I want to grab something to eat at tonight.
Selena GRRRL 69 said, ain't I doing it with a 160-pound woman's brain?
Right, let's exit here. Yep, it's tough work no matter what size frame you have. I see some guys out here that are 60, 70 years old, 200 pounds overweight. It takes them 5 minutes to get out of their truck just to climb down the steps, to have like a walker or a cane they're using. That's like, holy smokes. I don't know how they get a medical card to continue to drive. But some people just, with the way the economy is, will never be able to retire. I don't want to be that guy.
Nathan said, how many miles do you drive a year?
I would probably estimate around 145,000 to 150,000 miles a year. In my current, most driving jobs are a lot less than that. Most are probably somewhere between 100 to 125,000 a year. My weeks are generally between 2,900 to 3,200 miles per week. So like I said, some weeks I don't go all the way back to Columbus, Ohio, so I'll save a couple hundred miles, between 200 and 300 miles, depending on where I stay at for my one day off. But yeah, it's probably pretty close to 150,000 miles for a year. I get 2 weeks vacation a year. So between 145 and 150,000. So with my hours of service, technically I'm allowed to work 70 hours in an 8-day period. And I have to take 34 hours off in order to reset that. Now I could work 2 days, take 34 hours off, and then reset that clock, but it's obviously not the best way to do it to maximize your earnings potential and everything. I end up putting about 75 to 80 hours a weekend.
GRRRL 69 said, I was always hoping I was in best health when I went to Concentra.
Yeah, I hear you on that, Solana girl. I start about 4 weeks before. Now I still get 2-year medical cards. Blood pressure is obviously a major deal when you go to renew your medical card or whatever. But I'll start eating baby aspirin, and then a few days before I'll just start piling the bananas on. That's good for the blood pressure. And then do breathing exercises and a hot shower right before you go in for it. So I pull out all the stops. There's things you can control, there's things you can't control. So I just try to be a master at the things I can't control. Continue to get those 2-year medical cards. So back to the hours of service, you know, even though I'm only allowed to put 70 hours in a week, I generally put 75 to 80 in a week when I'm out here. And the way I'm able to legally do that is when I'm making my deliveries, I don't physically unload the trailer myself. You know, there's store personnel that does that. So after I back into the dock and I get back in the truck, my logbook goes on to sleeper berth because I'm actually in the sleeper berth section of my tractor. So it's 100% legally allowed. And I'm generally laying down and resting up while I am making those deliveries. So, you know, that frees up enough time to, because I need every bit of 75 to 80 hours in order to make it back to Columbus, Ohio at the end of every week. There's no way to do it within 70 if I don't hit that sleeper berth. So, but when I do switch to the sleeper berth, I am in the sleeper berth, so that makes it not illegal. All right, coming up on the turnpike here. It's a stupid 40-mile-an-hour speed limit coming up on this. I wish Indiana would go to open road tolling, if anybody's listening. And it's kind of ridiculous to still be stuck in the 1980s with the way they do shit.
Said, is there a screen that tells you all that?
I do have a screen on my electronic logs that I can actually hit the button on it right now. It'll tell me how much time I have left on my 11-hour drive clock, my 14-hour clock, my 70-hour clock. And I also have an 8-hour, I can only drive 8 hours before I need to take a 30-minute lunch break, which is stupid. But usually by the time I bump a dock, you know, that 30-minute break ends up clearing out at that point. So
GRRRL69 said, I remember 55 mph limits.
All right, let's get up to speed on the turnpike here. Only going to be on here for about 6 miles or so. Now, I even could have took 65 south down to US 30. Would have saved a couple miles, but then I got an extra 15 miles worth of traffic lights to deal with. Which, fuck traffic lights. It's not good for the logbook. So if you're just joining in, thanks for checking out my live stream. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I am trying to come online here 4 to 5 times a week.
I hate logbooks.
Yeah, and the whole hours of service and logbooks are, I think they're just so antiquated from what they should be. You know, if I'm a 75-year-old driver, which there are 75-year-old drivers still out here, there's no way I should be allowed to drive 70 hours a week and work 14-hour days. I mean, I need to have different sets of hours of service for different types of drivers. And I think if you're like 23 years old, just getting started, you should be able to take some type of testing, psychological testing, physical testing, where you can get certified to drive 100 hours in a week. You know, and then if you're that older person driving, you know, you should be able to get like certified for 40 to 50 hours a week. That way companies can't push you to work any more or harder than that. So yeah, so 55-mile-an-hour speed limits, you know, Ohio was one of the holdouts on that for many, many years. It was probably 15 years ago where they finally switched it to 65 miles an hour. So maybe not even that long. California's still stuck at 55 miles an hour. You know, the feds were supposed to start withholding transportation money from them because they wouldn't increase it to 65. So when I drove out, I mean, I've driven a lot of miles in California.
Said Oregon is too.
Is Oregon only 55 for the whole state for trucks? Guess I didn't realize that. Or it was just overshadowed by California.
69 said, and you might get a Martin's DOT code that synchronizes your records. Nathan said, yes, sir.
Oh, wow, yeah. I either forgot that or didn't even realize that. Well, I would never drive 55 in California, so I would always go 65. Back then, in 07, I had a truck that was governed at 71 miles an hour. Yeah, I had a truck that was governed at 71 miles an hour, and you know, when I was a brand new CDL driver, like I didn't realize how debilitating a speeding ticket was. And I would just drive 71 in California everywhere I went. My co-driver would give me shit about it. Idaho is the only place I've ever been pulled over for speeding in a semi-truck. I was going 61 and a 55 at the time. And I'm pretty sure they were training a new deputy sheriff or whatever, just to show them how to check a truck driver's paperwork. I mean, it just gave me a verbal warning. I've never had a speeding ticket in a semi-truck. I haven't had a speeding ticket in my car since 2007. And that was for 93 and a 65. And then for a number of years, I had a Dodge Challenger Hellcat, which was a 200 mile an hour car. So even if they tried to pull me over, they still couldn't. That's all I'm going to say on that. Alright, going to be exiting here in less than a mile. Going to get on Indiana 49, run it, about 10 miles or so south. Pick up US Route 30. Only about 150 miles away from my first delivery. Alright, here's the exit. Don't want to take this one too fast. So, not sure if my signal's going to hold up. I'm going to try to run this live stream all the way over to Plymouth, Indiana. I'm going to stop at the Love's there. Get me a Hardee's breakfast sandwich. Frisco breakfast sandwich. Usually try to stay away from that garbage, but every once in a while I need some of it. I just have to have it. I generally try to eat well, eat a lot of salads. Yeah, I do have a condo-sized fridge with me, so I hit up a Walmart once a week, buying, healthy choice, Smart Ones meals, grab a rotisserie chicken, and a lot of vegetables and produce. Try to eat healthy, keep the weight off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, look at this guy doing a U-turn. Oh, he's not U-turning. He's going into the drop lot there. Never mind. Good old pre-pass gets me right through here. Bet you this guy's going to pull right out. Unfortunately, he's going left and not right. So off to the right here is a drop lot for the turnpike. So on the Ohio Turnpike, you're allowed to run triples. Or Indiana Turnpike and the Ohio Turnpike. You can run triples, 3 trailers, which I'd never done before. I was certified to do it, but all I've hauled is doubles. And believe it or not, doubles is easier driving generally than driving one 53-foot trailer. But you're not allowed to drive triples off the turnpike, so you would have to hit this drop lot here and break your triples down into doubles or less, and able to be able to run any route other than a turnpike. So that was an area where you could do that at. About 9 or 10 miles on here. So once I hit US 30, which is going to be in probably about 9 miles now, it is possible I will lose my signal and it will end the live stream. In the event that it does that, I'll probably just leave it there for the night. So if it does end involuntarily, I apologize, but you know, definitely thanks for joining in and checking out my live stream. It definitely helps break up the monotony chatting with y'all going down the road here. So, and if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trying to get my channel built up a little bit here. I'm only allowed a certain amount of viewers on at a time if I have less than 1,000 subscribers, which I don't have anywhere near 1,000 subscribers currently, so appreciate your help with that. I do post a lot of other videos. Probably got a couple hundred videos up so far, just shorts and reels and all the crazy shit that happens out here and everything. So a lot of times when I'm making my deliveries is when I'll edit a lot of that footage and post it, you know, in the afternoon or whatever. So I actually have a bunch of stuff to edit this morning, so hopefully I'll have something to put up this afternoon. I am also on Facebook. If you want to find me on Facebook, you're probably easiest to find me by going to Google and searching Johnny Dangerously Digital Creator. If you wanted to find me on there, I do put pretty much the same material up on there as I do on YouTube, though. Alright, change lanes for the construction here.
Selena GRRRL69 said, I hope you don't have interesting events happen. Dulles Peace.
Yeah, boring is generally good in this line of work, for sure. But fortunately or unfortunately, there are so many stupid people out here. It makes for some interesting footage sometimes. So, as a matter of fact, I got to remember to check my truck when I get stopped. If you remember, there was an orange barrel that was over way on the left side of that lane in that construction. So I did clip it a little bit, and I'm just not sure what I hit it with or if it caused any damage or not. So I'll have to remember to take a look at that and see what kind of interesting shit I'll have to deal with on that this morning. So basically make these trucks out of plastic anymore, so if I hit a big enough bug, it'll put a hole in my truck. Dead baby raccoon in the middle of the lane there. Now, this guy's taking forever to get up to speed from the traffic light here. Speed limit here is 55. And when I exit onto US 30, it's going to be 60 miles an hour, except for when I'm going through the little towns. So, well, yeah, I bet that Charger was a lot of fun. I had to sell my Hellcat when I got sick to pay some bills, and so I hope to be able to get another one here in another couple years or so. But oh, that was so much fun. I love that car. A vehicle for me has always been an extension of my personality, so I can't drive a small car. I need a big V8 or bigger. You know, the Hellcat had the supercharger on it, so oh, it was awesome. All right, exit coming up here. So could run into some low signal or no signal areas up here. Just to give you a heads up, if it goes no signal for, I don't even know, a certain amount of time, it will just end the live stream automatically. So if that happens, I do plan on hopefully being back on here tomorrow night around the same time. I usually try to put a post up in the afternoon, giving a rough estimate of what time I'll be on here. I've just been editing the same post. I like updating it, so hopefully y'all are able to see that. But I am trying to do more and more of these, and for longer periods of time. It takes a little while to get used to all this and build my stamina up for it and everything, so.
Selena GRRRL69 said, I love my 66 grams TO. A lot of people in high school wondered if I was butch. No, not me. Julie Irwin. Welcome to my channel. Julie Irwin said, please drive safely. Appalachian Bushcraft. Thanks for following.
Yep, I'll definitely drive safely. It's the only way to drive. '66 GTO, wow. That's a hell of a car right there. Yeah, when I was in high school, I ended up with a 1979 Chevy El Camino. That's a nice 350 Chevy small block. Nice performance intake, 4-barrel. Ended up with 393 gears in the rear end. A lot of torque. A lot of fun. That was my first speeding ticket in that car. But not the first time I was pulled over though. I got pulled over the first day I had my driver's license. I've had at least 25 speeding tickets in my life.
400 cubes. First shifter. Hooker headers.
Damn. How long did you have that 66 GTO before you got rid of it? Alright, so heading US 30 eastbound right now. Not sure if the signal's going to hold up through here. I know it's been tried to run through here before and have had some issues with it, so hopefully it will hold up. I plan on riding with you for another 34, 35 miles or so over to Plymouth, Indiana. That's where I'm going to try to wrap the live stream up at. If it cuts out before then, I will be back on here tomorrow night around the same time. Give or take around 2 a.m. I'll get started Eastern Daylight Time. And then I will try to post an update on a little music video I put up with my live stream, kind of giving a rough idea of what time I'll get on if any of that changes. I'll have that up by 2 or 3 this afternoon. If I do lose my signal and it cuts out, I want to thank everyone for joining in, checking out the live stream, for all your comments and posts and everything. It's always fun getting to chat with everyone going down the highway here.
Selena GRRRL69 said, 3 years till some
What'd you get after the GTO? I got a little town coming up here. Speed limit's going to drop all the way, I think, to 40 miles an hour. You got to be careful in these little towns late at night like this. Jeez, oh man, you got to drive some cool cars. Damn. Like my dream car would be like a 66 or 67 Chevelle. I mean, I would settle for a Camaro. But I was a Chevy guy for the most part, all through high school. And then I got swayed over to the Hemi side when they put that Hellcat out. I remember reading all the specs on that car, and it was before they did not release pricing info on it until about 6 months later. But I read all the specs on it, and I was like, holy shit, that's going to be a $100,000 car easily. I mean, it basically had the same speed and performance rating as a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. You know, 707 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. And then 6 months later, when they put the pricing info out, it was like $59,825 was MSRP on it. And I was like, holy shit, I might be able to swing that. I couldn't believe it was that cheap. So that came out in 2015. They didn't make very many of them in 2015. And I went and looked at one in the fall of that year, and they wanted $74,000 for it, and it was used. It already had 1,500 miles on it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I had it custom built from the factory to my specs. Got a 2016. I think it come out to like 63.5, give or take. So, not too bad, not too shabby for the horsepower and all that stuff. And hell, nowadays you can't even get a new anything for $50,000 or $60,000. So, actually looking at some late 70s Camaros, thinking about grabbing one in the spring maybe. Right now I currently drive a 2011 GMC Yukon, so it's nice, just a work vehicle. It's got a lot of miles on it. I think it's got almost 250,000 miles on it. But I need something fast. I need something cool. Definitely like old school muscle cars. Yeah, the prices of those have skyrocketed over the years. I remember I'm trying to remember, it's probably I was in high school, which is years ago now. You could pick up a 67, 68, 69 Camaro for $60,000 to $100,000. So, and brand new in '67, I bet you that Camaro was only $5,000 or $6,000. So, you know, for it to, 50 years later to be, 10 to 15 times what the original MSRP was is insane. I mean, imagine that Hellcat for $60,000, 30 years, 40 years from now, selling for $600,000 to $900,000. I mean, that would be the same equivalent to what that Camaro would be. So, of course, you're going to have inflation and everything, where the value of the money is going to be different 30 to 40 years from now, but I guarantee you 30 to 40 years from now it's not going to sell for $600,000 to $900,000. Buick, not sure what you mean by Buick. Got some railroad tracks coming up here.
Selena GRRRL 69 said Wildcat.
Oh, Hellcat. No, that's Dodge Challenger. The Hellcat is the version. It's called the SRT Hellcat. SRT stands for Street Racing Technology. So they put out, 5 or 6 different versions of that Challenger. They have like an SXT, which is like the 6-cylinder, slowest one. A couple other ones in between. The SRT non-Hellcat, as the SRT one has like almost 500 horsepower. And then the SRT Hellcat has 707 horsepower, supercharged.
GRRRL 69 said, yeah, I got mixed up for a sec.
Yeah, there are different models out there of every vehicle. So since the Hellcat that are even faster, they have the SRT Demon, which was with racing fuel would go up to 840 horsepower. I drove one of those. A buddy of mine owns a used dealership for Ferraris, Lambos, Porsches, and all performance-related cars. And he'd come across a Demon. He tried to sell it to me, and it was just took it for a drive. And 100 horsepower, once you already got 700, 100 horsepower difference isn't that noticeable. So it was gonna be like an $1,800 a month car payment. And I was like, yeah, I think I'll pass on that. And I already had a lot of equity in my car anyway, so. And then they put out a Demon 170, which is, I think, about 1,000 horsepower. And I'm seeing those sell online for $150,000 to $170,000. When the MSRP on it was only around 100, so. Can't rule out that I might not end up with one of those at some point, but I'll need a lot more subscribers to be able to do that. All right, looks like I'm holding a pretty good signal so far. Hopefully it'll stay good for the next 25 miles or so here. So it should be about 25 minutes or so.
Said, I never make payments. Pay cash on the spot.
Yeah, I hope to one day be able to do that. So not anywhere near there yet. So But as I was saying, I'm probably going to wrap this live stream up in about 20 to 25 minutes or so, just to give you all a heads up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I am trying to come live on here for a couple hours at a time, at least 4 to 5 times a week. Hope to be back on here about the same time tomorrow night, about 2 a.m. or so. I do post a lot of other videos throughout the week as crazy shit happens out here, so there's got to be a couple hundred videos up already on my YouTube channel. So every once in a while I do a non-driving related video. Wasn't a filmmaking.
Find you later. Good night.
Thanks, Lina Girl, for joining in. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. So as I was saying, I was into filmmaking and stuff right out of high school. I wrote, directed, and produced this little 30-minute short film. Actually won an award from a film festival back then. So I do have that whole thing posted on the YouTube channel if you wanted to check it out. That's, if you scroll through the videos, that's pretty much the trailer and the movie. I like the first 2 videos I put those up back in 2014, I think. So, but I do have a bunch of other scripted little videos, little shorts I want to make at some point. So at some point I'll get around to doing more of those. I just did a golf tournament a couple weeks ago. I dressed up as Happy Gilmore, so I cut together a little 2.5 minute video of that, so it come out pretty good. Yeah, the short film I did, if you scroll all the way to like the first video, not the shorts, it's like literally the first 2 things I ever put up on YouTube. And I don't have that many actual videos. I have a lot of shorts up there, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find. If you just go to the videos and then see all and then scroll over, and it's got the little like 1.5, 2 minute long commercial for it, and then the whole actual film on there. So, but I was I think 19 when I wrote it, 20 when I directed it, and 21 when I finished it. So I spent about $12,000 in 1999 money or 1998 money on that. So. It was a ton of fun. Come out pretty good for what I was aiming for, what I was shooting for. In hindsight, if I would have just put that 12 grand in NVIDIA stock, I'd probably have about $15 million right now. But hey, memories. Spielberg wannabe, maybe. I am definitely a creative, so even though I haven't really done a lot of video projects since then, I mean, movies are absolutely ridiculous tough. I mean, I still can't believe I was able to pull that off. I mean, there was probably almost 100 people involved between actors, crew members, and everyone associated with it. And, you know, I've tried to do a smaller video, just a one-day shoot last year, and literally everybody screwed me over at the last minute. And I'd already spent $4,000 on everything to do this little one-day shoot. It was going to be like a little music video I was gonna make, and I have nothing to show for it. But you know, Oh, I thought I was going to lose y'all there. I think it disconnected for a second. Making and be producer and director. So, it's that shitty signal.